Hi everyone, today we are doing a quadratic function, also known as a parabola graph. A parabola. A parabola graph is given by y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Together, where the value of c is just a constant term that doesn't have x and it indicates the y-intercept of our graph, and the value of a determines the shape of our graph, and then the value of b, we use it to find the turning point. Just write TP. Are we together? So by just knowing the value of a and c, knowing the value of a will determine the shape of your graph, whether your graph is concave up or concave down, and then the value of c will just indicate where will your graph cut the y-axis, and then b and a are used to find the turning point, the x value at the turning point rather, for your graph. Okay, firstly I want us to focus on a simple function, the basic of them all. We have y is equal to x squared. It's ax squared like this. Together, this kind of a graph, it can be like this, or the graph can face downwards. Together, for you to know which one is it, the sign of a will be the one to determine it. Together, if a is greater than 0, your graph will face upwards. It means that your graph is concave up. But if a is less than 0, your graph will face downwards. It means it is concave down. Are we together? So this is the basic graph whereby both the x and y axes, whereby both the x and y intercepts of our graph are at the origin. Are we together? So I can conclude that, okay, since for me to have the addition of the bx and the c, it simply means that I have translated my graph both horizontally and vertically. Are we together? Okay, let's first start with a graph which is vertically translated. Let's say we have a graph like this. Y is equal to x squared plus 2. Yeah, it's fine. This thing simply means that our graph will turn when y is equal to 2, because we know that the original graph, it was moving like this, because the 2 was not there. This 2 was not there. Are we together? And then now this new graph will go like this. Let me write it in orange. It will be like this, and here we'll have 2 y0 x-axis. Are we together? So if ever your graph is just doesn't have the middle term, the value of b, it simply means that your turning point is at the y-axis, and the y value here will be where your graph cut the y-axis. Are we together? So if we have y is equal to a negative x squared plus 4, your graph should look like this. Since a is negative and the y-intercept is 4, the value of c is 4, your graph should look like this. This is 4 here, and then you'll find your x values. Are we together? And whenever you find your x values, just make y 0, solve for x. It's as simple as that. Are we together? So that's how simple it is to deal with a parabola or quadratic function in grade 10. So okay, now I want us to focus on our graph whereby the turning point is no longer at the y-axis. Our graph now will be in this form: ax squared plus bx and c, because our graph as compared to the normal graph, which is like this: y is equal to ax squared. Now our graph has been translated both vertically and horizontally. Are we together? So a graph like this, as I just said, if you are given a graph like this, they are telling you two things about the graph. There are three ways they can give you the graph. Firstly, if the graph is like this, number one, they're telling you about the shape. Shape is always there, and they're telling you about the y-intercept of your graph. Are you together? But if they give you a graph in this form, now they are giving you the value of the turning point. Are you together? P and Q are the coordinates of the turning point. Please note that I had negative P there, but now when I'm writing as a coordinate, I only write the positive value of P. Are you together? And this guy, it's always the shape. Number 3, a graph can be given in this form, whereby y is equal to a x minus m and x minus n, whereby both m and n are your x-intercepts. Are your x-intercepts of your graph. Are you together? And still here, the value of a will show you, will tell you about the shape of your graph. Are you together? So I know that, okay, if I'm given my graph like this, the examiner is trying to tell me what is the value of the y-intercept. If I'm given a graph like this, the examiner is telling me what are the coordinates of the turning point. If I'm given a graph like this, the examiner is telling me the x-intercepts of the graph. Are you together? So dealing with a parabola, guys, it's still one and the same thing, né? There are steps. I believe in teaching how to draw graphs, because when I do so, I can answer almost every question with regards to that particular function. Are you together? So the steps of drawing the graph. Step number 1, shape. Focus on the shape of your graph, né? Shape of your graph. If a is greater than 0, your graph will be concave up, and if a rather is less than 0, your graph will be concave down. It will look downwards like this. Then step number 2, just find the turning point and draw it. Are we together? I'll talk about the turning point right now. Just find the turning point and draw it. Not draw it rather, but plot it. Turning point. Then step number 3, you must find your x-intercept. I don't care what kind of a graph you're dealing with, but always the time y is equal to 0. Then the 4th step, you must find your y-intercept. it will be given most of the time, but just make x 0, solve for y. Then the fifth step, just draw your graph. You just draw your graph on step number 5. Né? Okay, I want us to focus on turning point. There are various ways of finding the turning point. There are various ways. Step number 1, and these various ways will just give you the x value at the turning point, and your duty is to substitute the x value in the equation of the graph to get its corresponding y value. So you can find the x value by just saying minus b all over 2a. Are you together? Please remember that the graph will be given as a x squared plus bx plus c. So for you to find the x coordinates of the turning point, you just take the value of b and a, put them here. Are you together? Another way you can do so, another way you can find the turning point, if ever, or by completing the square, né? By completing the square. When you complete your square, your end result should look like this. Y is ax minus p squared and q. Your end result should look like that. And then the third one, to those who are okay, third one, you can just find the average of your x-intercept. Né? Remember, I said earlier the m and n represent the x-intercept. So you can just say the x value at turning point is equal to the average of the x-intercepts. Are you together? After finding the x, is your duty to find the corresponding y value. That's the third way of doing it. And then the fourth way of doing it, to those who are doing grade 12, you can find your derivative of your graph and make it to be equal to 0, and then solve for x. After finding x, take that x value, substitute it to the original equation of the graph. You will get the corresponding y value. So this is how we find the turning point. Are we together? Okay, now let's work. Let's work. Let's work. I need to draw the graph. Number 1, you have f of x is equal to minus x squared plus 2x plus 8. Secondly, we have f of x is equal to two x minus 3 squared plus 4. Thirdly, we have f of x is equal to x minus 4 x plus 3. Okay, you can take a screenshot, guys, like me. Let me do this in green. Okay, the first one, okay, I'll write them here. The first one, f of x is equal to a negative x squared plus 2x plus 8 . Let's just focus on the first one, guys, and then we'll do the others as well. Okay, the first one, the first thing I need to do is to establish the shape of my graph. Let me use green for the first one. The shape of my graph, ne? I know that a is equal to negative 1. Negative 1 is a number which is less than 0. Therefore, my graph will be facing downwards. Are you together? Secondly, I must find the turning point. The turning point of my graph. I can use the derivative if I'm doing grade 12, but you can still say this. You can still say the x value at the turning point. X value at the turning point is minus b over 2a. Are you together? Minus b over 2a. You just substitute wherever you see b and 2a. It's 2 minus 1, so I'll get 1 is my x value, so the corresponding y value I'll just substitute whenever I see x. Are you together? So whenever I see x, I'll just put 1. I'll have 1 squared this thing is equal to 8 plus 2 is 10 minus 1 is 9. So I know that the turning point, the coordinates of my turning point are 1 and 9. Are you together? So I can draw them. I can just plot them now, because my graph will look like this. My turning point is somewhere here. I can easily draw the graph now if I want to. My graph will go like this and this, ne? It will cut where y is equal to 8. I have 1 and 9 is my turning point. Y 0 x-axis. Let me show that. Okay. This was step number 2, ne? Step number 3, I must find my x-intercept. I don't care what kind of a graph it is, I'll make y 0 and solve for x. Y is 0 and then I'll solve for x. 18 plus 2x plus 8. So x squared minus 2x minus 8 is 0. Okay, here I have a 4. X and x, 4 and 2 minus and plus. Then x is 4 or x is negative 2, right? And it doesn't make sense. We have a negative x value and a positive one. For the y-intercept, I can make y is equal to 0, it's fine, but I did say whenever your graph is given like this in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, they are telling you that this thing is the y-intercept. But if you're not sure, you can still say f of 0. Whenever you see x, you put 0. You have a negative 0 squared plus 2 times 0 and 8. You still have 8, which I did include there. That's how you draw your graph. That's how you draw your graph, guys. And then now let's focus on this one. Let's make this one to have an 8 there, so that you can find rational solutions. Rational solutions. Okay, let's go. Firstly, the shape of our graph, ne? The value of a is equal to 2. A is there, ne? And 2 is a number which is greater than 0. So I'm expecting to have a graph which is concave up. Are we together? Step number 2, turning point. If I'm given my graph like this, I'm told the coordinates of the turning point. Luckily, I don't have to work for them, ne? TP is equal to 3 and 8. Please note, whenever I write the x value, I'm changing the sign. I had a negative 3, but now I'm writing positive 3. Okay, and then now I must find the x-intercepts. I don't care what kind of a graph it is, just need to make y 0, solve for x. Just need to make y 0, then solve for x. I have 2x minus 3 squared plus 8. Yeah. See this thing of thinking problems from your head doesn't give solutions now. Okay, let's do this. Let's say we had a negative like this, excuse me, guys. So this thing simply means that my x value, my y coordinate at the turning point would be negative 8. Okay, I'm doing this because I want to have a solution whenever I find my x-intercepts. I want to have solutions. Okay, I'm solving x. I must solve x now, guys. The first thing I need to do is to remove brackets. Together, so I will have 2, and then I'll have x squared minus 3x plus 9 minus 8 is equal to 0. This thing will give me 2x squared minus 6x plus 18 minus 8 is equal to 0. Together, so I'll have 2x squared minus 6x plus 10 is equal to 0. Guys, excuse me. Please don't kill me there on the comment sections. Please don't kill me. I forgot to multiply the negative 3x with the 2, so that's why I had a 3 there. Don't kill me, guys. Askisin. Now I can divide everything by 2 now. I'll have x squared minus 6x plus 5 is equal to 0. The factors of 5 that when I add will give me 6 is 5 and 1. Then x is 5 or x is 1. I have 2 x coordinates, so my graph will look like this. I have a turning point there which is equal to 3 and negative 8. It's somewhere here, and my x values are 5 and 1. Simply means that it will cut here and here, and my y value will be positive. I have 1 and 5 there. For me to find the y-intercept, I must always make x 0, solve for y. Add together, and then this thing will give me 2 multiplied by 9 is 18. 18 minus 8 is 10. So my y-intercept would be 10. Y 0 x-axis. This is how my graph would look like. Add together. Most of the times you are given the graphs, all you need to do is everything that you've done above. They'll ask you questions bit by bit. Write down the coordinates of the turning point, find the coordinates of the x-intercept, coordinates of the y-intercept. Together you'll be given, especially if you're doing grade 12. For grade 11 and 10, this thing is more important for you. Okay, number three, same thing applies. Shape, I know that a is the number, it should be the number in front of the bracket, so I have 1. 1 is a number that is greater than 0. Simply means that the shape should be facing upwards. Are you together? And then for me to find the turning point, number 2, I must find turning point. For me to do so, I must find the x value at the turning point. I said it's the average of the x intercept, and the average of the x intercept will give me the x value at the turning point. The x value is 4 plus a negative 3 all over 2. This thing will give me 1 over 2. And then for me to find the corresponding y value, I will say f of 1 over 2 is equal to 1 over 2 minus 4 multiplied by 1 over 2 plus 3. What do we get here? 1 over 2 minus 4, negative 7 over 2, and then here I'll get 7 over 2, negative 49 over 4. So the coordinates of the turning point are 1 over 2 and negative 49 over 4. And then the x-intercepts I'm given where y is 0, I'm given the x-intercept, this one and this one. So x is equal to 4 or x is equal to negative 3. Please note that I'm changing the signs. And then for the y-intercept, I need to make my x 0 and then solve for y. I have f of 0 is equal to 0 minus 4, 0 plus 3. What do I get there? I get a negative 12. So whenever I draw my graph should look like this. My y-intercept, my turning point is somewhere there, 1 over 2 and negative 49 over 4. It should cut like this. Here I'll have a negative 12, then I'll have a negative 3 and a positive 4. Always label your axis, y0 x-axis. This is how my graph should look like. This is how, guys, this is how you tackle the questions of quadratic equations. Now guys, please stay tuned, stay for more. subscribe, like, share the video, and yeah, tell your friends to come and join us too.